I'm leaving my husband for him. Cole Matthews is a nobody who's held me back for 7 years. The words echo through the Phoenix Convention Center ballroom like a sledgehammer hitting concrete. My wife Ashley stands on stage under the crystal chandeliers, her face flushed with champagne and conviction, her hand intertwined with Shane Mitchell, my employee, my site supervisor, the man I hired 6 months ago, specifically to see if she would stay faithful. The crowd of construction professionals gasps. Look, I need you to understand something before we go any further. My name is Cole Matthews and I own Matthews Construction, a $12 million company my father built from dirt and sweat. But for the past 7 years, my wife has believed I'm a struggling day laborer who swings a hammer for $12 an hour and can barely make rent. This wasn't an accident. It was a test. I learned about tests from my father on his deathbed when I was 19. Son, he whispered, his voice barely audible over the beeping machines. Money doesn't corrupt people, it reveals who they already are. Promise me you'll test whoever you marry. He died 3 hours later, alone, except for me. You see, I spent the next 15 years building his empire, always remembering that warning. When I met Ashley 8 years ago at a Habitat for Humanity build, I was wearing work clothes, deliberately downplaying my status. She was volunteering, helping frame walls for a single mother. Beautiful, yes, but more than that. She was dedicated. She laughed at my stories from job sites. She talked about dreams of working in construction management. She didn't ask what I did for a living until our third date. Day labor, I told her. Framing, concrete, whatever pays. She smiled. As long as you work hard, that's what matters. I fell in love with that smile. We dated for a year. I kept my identity hidden, living in a cramped apartment, driving a beat-up F-150. My company lawyers helped me create financial structures, trusts, aliases, remote management systems. To the world, I was just Cole Matthews, another guy with dirt under his fingernails. To my foreman, I was the invisible owner who preferred leading from the field. When I proposed, Ashley cried happy tears. We married 7 years ago in a small church ceremony. I wore a rented tux. She wore a simple department store dress. Here's what you gotta understand. For the first 2 years, everything seemed perfect. We lived in that cramped apartment while Ashley climbed the ranks at Matthews Construction, my company, though she had no idea. I'd arranged her hiring without her knowing, wanting her to succeed on merit alone. She was talented, driven. Her project coordination was efficient. I watched her presentations through security cameras, proud as hell of the woman I married. But by year 3, cracks started showing. Ashley came home exhausted and frustrated more often. You know what Linda told me today? She snapped one evening, slamming grocery bags on our tiny kitchen counter. Her husband bought her a new Silverado. And what do I get? A husband who works construction and can barely afford our rent. I was fixing a broken cabinet door. I'm working on something bigger, Ashley. Trust me. She scoffed. That's what you said 2 years ago. My phone buzzed. A text about a $3 million contract approval. Ashley glanced at the screen, but I pocketed it before she could read anything. Just the crew boss, I lied. Overtime shift. That night, lying awake beside her, I wondered if my father had been right. Money reveals character. But what if poverty does too? What if I was torturing both of us with this test? By year 5, Ashley's resentment had hardened into contempt. She stopped asking about my work, stopped caring about my day. She'd come home later and later, project meetings, site inspections, team coordination. Then 6 months ago, I made the decision that would change everything. I hired Shane Mitchell as the new site supervisor, handsome, charismatic, arrogant. He drove a lifted Dodge Ram, wore expensive work boots, flaunted his overtime money. I'd vetted him carefully, not for qualifications, but for his predatory nature. Look, I needed to know, if a seemingly successful man showed interest in Ashley, would she stay faithful? I watched through security cameras as Shane leaned on her desk during his first week. You're too smart to be stuck coordinating from an office, Ashley. You should be working with someone who appreciates you. He glanced at her wedding ring. That is, if your husband appreciates you. Ashley laughed nervously, but her cheeks flushed. That night she texted me. Working late, new supervisor is really pushing deadlines. I watched the security feed, her laughing at Shane's jokes, accepting his compliments, staying an extra hour after work was done. my fist clenched around my phone. 2 months later, Ashley came home at 11 p.m., reeking of expensive cologne. I was waiting in our dark living room, heart hammering despite already knowing what I'd seen on security footage. "You're late," I said quietly. She jumped. "God, Cole, you scared me. Why are you sitting in the dark?" I saw her clearly under the lights, makeup smudged, eyes bright with beer, that flush on her cheeks that used to be reserved for me. "Shane took the team out for drinks," she explained too quickly. "Team building. You wouldn't understand since you work alone." "You've been building a lot of teams lately." Her eyes hardened. "At least someone believes in my career. When's the last time you celebrated my accomplishments? When's the last time you made me feel like I mattered?" The worst part, some of it was fair. I'd been so focused on testing her that I'd forgotten to just love her. "Ashley, I celebrate you every day." She laughed bitterly. "You want the truth, Cole? I'm embarrassed to introduce you to my co-workers. They ask what my husband does, and I have to say day laborer, like you're some unemployed loser." The words hung in the air like toxic fumes. "Is that what you think I am? A loser?" She paused, guilt flashing across her face. Then pride won. "I think you're comfortable being mediocre," she said, "and I'm tired of being mediocre with you." She slammed the bedroom door. I stood there thinking about my father's words, about 7 years invested in this test, about the security footage from earlier, Ashley and Shane having lunch downtown, his hand covering hers, her leaning close. I pulled out my phone and called my head of security. "Move up the Construction Excellence Awards to next month. I'll be revealing myself as owner that night. Make sure Shane Mitchell and Ashley Matthews get VIP invitations." I hired a private investigator the next day, Lance Cooper, ex-police detective who specialized in workplace misconduct. Within a week, he delivered a file 2 inches thick. Photographs of Ashley and Shane at intimate lunches. Time-stamped images of them leaving hotels during supposed site meetings. Text message logs recovered from the company server. You know what kills me? Reading those messages. Here's what my wife was saying about me. "He makes me feel like I matter, like I'm not just married to a nobody." Shane's response, "You deserve someone who sees your worth, someone like me." Ashley, "I can't keep doing this. I feel guilty." Shane, "Guilt is just fear of change. Choose happiness, Ashley. Choose us." I sat in my private office on the top floor of Matthews Construction, reading every message. My hands trembled, not from sadness anymore, but from pure rage. 7 years of marriage reduced to married to a nobody. But Lance's investigation revealed something even worse. Shane had been stealing company materials. $18,000 over 6 months, lumber, equipment, tools, all categorized as damaged or lost. Every expensive dinner, every hotel room, every gift he'd given Ashley, financed with materials stolen from my company. The bracelet Ashley had been wearing, I'd found the receipt in her purse. To Shane, for believing in me, her handwriting read, "Paid for with lumber meant for the Henderson project." Here's the thing about thieves. They get sloppy when they think nobody's watching. Shane was using my wife to create a smokescreen for his theft, probably figuring if anyone questioned missing materials, he could claim he was dating a project coordinator and didn't want to mix personal and professional resources. He was a predator. Ashley was his willing accomplice, even if she didn't know about the embezzlement. I remember finding that receipt. Ashley had left her purse open while she showered. I wasn't planning to snoop. I'm not that kind of man. But there it was, sticking out like a sore thumb. I photographed everything methodically, every receipt, every text, every piece of evidence. Look, I knew what was coming. When I revealed the truth, Ashley would fight back. She'd claim I misunderstood, that it wasn't what it looked like, that she still loved me. I needed ironclad proof. Ashley emerged from the shower 20 minutes later, wrapped in a towel, hair damp. She looked beautiful, and I hated that I still noticed. I hated that part of me. The part that remembered our early days, the volunteer work, the simple wedding, the woman who'd promised to love me in sickness and health. Still hoped this was all a terrible mistake. "What are you doing?" she asked, seeing me near her purse. "Looking for the grocery list you wrote." I'd already put the receipt back, positioned exactly as I'd found it. She crossed the room quickly, snatching her purse away. "Don't go through my stuff, Cole." Her phone buzzed. Shane's name flashed on the screen. She saw me see it. For a second, genuine fear crossed her face. Then she hid the screen against her chest. "Work emergency," she muttered, disappearing into the bedroom. Through the closed door, I heard her voice, low and intimate. "No, he doesn't suspect anything. He's too wrapped up in his own world to notice. You want to know something?" That's when I stopped feeling sorry for myself and started getting angry, really angry, the kind of cold, calculating anger that builds empires and destroys enemies. I walked out of the apartment that night, drove to my real home, a ranch house in Scottsdale that Ashley didn't know existed. I stood on the back patio looking out at the desert and made my final decision. The test was over. She'd failed. Now came the consequences. I called my lawyer and had her prepare divorce papers. I called my operations manager and had him prepare Ashley's termination paperwork. I called the event coordinator and confirmed every detail of the awards ceremony, guest list, seating arrangements, the presentation that would reveal my identity. And I called Drew Patterson, my father's old business partner, the contractor who'd witnessed my wedding day. "It's time," I told him. "I'm ending this." "Cole," he said gently, "I'm sorry. I know you wanted to believe in her." "My father was right," I replied. "Money doesn't corrupt people. It reveals who they already are. Ashley revealed herself. She just doesn't know I was watching." 1 week before the ceremony, Ashley received a gold-embossed invitation delivered by courier. I watched through security cameras as she opened it, eyes widening with excitement. "Construction Excellence Awards, VIP guest." She actually squealed like a kid on Christmas morning. Shane appeared behind her desk moments later, reading over her shoulder. "Looks like someone finally recognized your value," he said smoothly, hand resting on her lower back in a gesture that made my blood boil. "This is incredible," Ashley breathed. "This is where careers are made. The owner himself is supposed to appear. No one's seen him in years." "Come with me," Shane suggested, voice low and intimate. "We'll make quite the entrance together." Ashley hesitated. For a moment, I thought maybe she'd remember her vows, remember me. "I'm married," she said softly. He leaned closer, lips nearly touching her ear. "To a man who doesn't appreciate you. When's the last time Cole took you somewhere this elegant? When's the last time he made you feel special?" I watched her resistance crumble in real time, like watching a building collapse in slow motion. "You're right," she whispered. That night, she came home and threw the invitation at me. Literally threw it, the heavy cardstock hitting my chest. "I got invited to the Construction Excellence Awards," she announced. "It's black tie. You probably don't even own a real suit." I picked up the invitation calmly, studying it. "I might surprise you." Ashley scoffed, lip curling in disgust. "The only surprise would be if you actually amounted to something." I looked at her, really looked at the stranger my wife had become. The contempt in her eyes, the cruelty in her smile. "You might be surprised," I repeated quietly. She walked away, already texting Shane. "He's pathetic. I can't wait to leave him." I saw the message on my security feed, and I smiled. The Phoenix Convention Center ballroom looks like something out of a magazine. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light across polished floors. Ice sculptures glitter on tables draped in white linens. A jazz quartet plays near the entrance where guests arrive in pickup trucks and luxury sedans, their best jewelry catching the light. I watch it all from a private balcony on the second floor, invisible to the crowd below. My tuxedo is custom tailored, probably worth more than Ashley thinks I own. My operations manager, Wesley Brooks, stands beside me, face tight with concern. "Sir, are you absolutely certain about this?" he asks for the third time. "We could handle this privately. Quiet termination, discreet divorce. This is going to be very public." I don't take my eyes off the entrance. She chose to betray me publicly. She'll face the consequences publicly. "But the emotional toll is nothing compared to 7 years of lies," I interrupt. 7 years of pretending to be someone I'm not, just to find out if my wife would love me without money. Wesley falls silent. He'd known my father, worked with him for 15 years before I took over. He understands. Below, Shane's red Dodge Ram pulls up to valet. He emerges first, straightening his tuxedo with that performative confidence that makes my jaw clench. Then he opens the passenger door, extending his hand. Ashley steps out. My breath catches despite everything. She's wearing that red dress, the one Shane bought, with stolen lumber money. Her dark hair swept up elegantly, fake diamond earrings glinting. She looks radiant, happy, more vibrant than I've seen her in years, because she's with him instead of me. That's the dress Shane purchased with material theft, Wesley notes, checking his tablet. Charged as damaged supplies 3 weeks ago. Make sure that detail's in the presentation, I reply. Ashley takes Shane's arm and they glide into the ballroom like royalty. I watch her scan the crowd, eyes wide with excitement. This is her dream, the prestige, the networking, the elegant world she's always craved. She's finally here. She just doesn't know she was always entitled to it as my wife. More guests arrive. I recognize most. Contractors, suppliers, city officials. Then Drew Patterson pulls up in his Escalade, and my chest tightens. He's brought his wife, Melissa. Behind them, in a separate car, is Ashley's mother, Nicole Foster. I'd called Nicole 2 weeks ago. Mrs. Foster, this is Cole Matthews. I need you to attend an event. Cole, is Ashley okay? Everything's wrong, I'd admitted, but I need you to see it for yourself. I need you to understand what your daughter has become. What has she done? She's having an affair with her supervisor. She's planning to leave me for him publicly at a company awards ceremony, not knowing I own the company. Nicole had gasped. No, not my Ashley. I have evidence. I'm not asking you to take my side. I'm asking you to witness the truth. Now I watch Nicole enter the ballroom, face pale and uncertain, searching until she spots Ashley laughing with Shane near the bar. Nicole's hand flies to her mouth. Sir, it's almost time, Wesley says. 5 minutes until introductions. My heart pounds. 7 years have led to this moment. 7 years of tests, of watching, of hoping my father was wrong about what money reveals. Down in the ballroom, Ashley's in her element. I watch her network effortlessly, shaking hands with contractors whose names she recognizes from project files. She introduces Shane as my supervisor and my inspiration. Shane beams, hand never leaving her lower back, possessive, like she's already his. Then Ashley freezes. She's spotted Drew and my other college friends clustered near the bar. One of them points directly at her, whispering to the others. Panic flashes across her face. She grabs Shane's arm, pulling him toward a corner. I can't hear, but I read her lips. We need to leave. Shane shakes his head, confused. She's making a choice in real time. Leave with dignity intact or stay and risk everything for this glamorous world. She stays. Of course she stays. The lights dim. A spotlight illuminates the stage. The MC steps up to the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Construction Excellence Awards. Applause erupts. Ashley claps enthusiastically. Earlier panic forgotten in the excitement. Tonight we celebrate not just an industry, but a legacy. Matthews Construction was founded 25 years ago and has grown into one of Arizona's most innovative companies. More applause. I remain in the shadows, watching. But before we hear from our enigmatic owner, a man who's led brilliantly while remaining out of the public eye, let's hear from our top performers. The MC begins calling names. A city councilman speaks about infrastructure. A supplier discusses partnerships. Then, Shane Mitchell, our top-performing supervisor of the year. Ashley erupts in applause, pride radiating from her face. Shane swaggers onto stage, soaking in attention. He takes the microphone with practiced ease. Thank you, he says, voice smooth as concrete. I've learned something important this year. Success isn't just about profits or timelines. It's about surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, who see your potential and believe in you. He's looking directly at Ashley. She's gazing back like he's reciting poetry, which is why I want to recognize someone special. Ashley Matthews, could you join me on stage? My hands grip the railing so hard my knuckles turn white. Wesley puts a warning hand on my shoulder. Stay calm, let it play out. Ashley practically floats onto stage, red dress swirling. The champagne's gone to her head. She's smiling wider than I've seen in years. She takes the microphone Shane offers, and for a moment they stand there, hands intertwined, looking like the perfect power couple. I want everyone to know, Shane announces, that Ashley Matthews isn't just my brilliant colleague. She's the woman I'm falling in love with. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Some look uncomfortable. Others lean forward, drawn to the drama. Ashley's face flushes crimson, but she doesn't pull away. Instead, she grips the microphone tighter. The alcohol, the attention, the years of resentment. It all comes pouring out. "And I'm leaving my husband for him," she declares. "Cole Matthews is a nobody who's held me back for 7 years." Silence descends like a physical weight. 250 people freeze mid-conversation, mid-sip, mid-breath. I can feel their collective shock from my position above them. Ashley continues, emboldened by Shane's presence and the crowd's attention. "I've spent 7 years married to a man with no ambition, no drive, no future. While I've been building my career, he's been swinging a hammer for $12 an hour, pretending he matters. Well, I'm done pretending. I'm done settling. I deserve someone who can give me the life I've always wanted." Shane wraps his arm around her waist, pulling her close. "That's right, baby. You deserve everything." You know what's funny? They're so caught up in their moment of triumph that they don't notice the crowd's expressions shifting from shock to confusion. They don't see Drew covering his mouth to hide a smile. They don't see Nicole, Ashley's mother, sinking into a chair with her face in her hands. They don't see me step out of the shadows and walk toward the stage entrance. The MC notices, though. His eyes widen in recognition. He quickly recovers, pressing his finger to his earpiece as my event coordinator feeds him instructions. "Well," the MC says smoothly, "that was certainly unexpected. But speaking of unexpected, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for." I reach the side of the stage. Ashley still hasn't seen me. She's too busy accepting congratulations from Shane, too busy basking in what she thinks is her liberation. "For the first time in public," the MC announces, making a rare personal appearance, "please welcome the owner, founder's son, and CEO of Matthews Construction, Cole Matthews." I step into the spotlight. The ballroom erupts in thunderous applause. 250 pairs of hands clapping, but all I hear is silence. All I see is Ashley's face draining of color as recognition hits her like a freight train. Her knees buckle. Shane catches her, but his own face has gone ashen, his confident smirk replaced by dawning horror. I take the microphone from the MC, my hand steady despite the rage coursing through my veins. "Thank you all for coming tonight," I say, voice calm and measured. "My father built this company from nothing, and I've had the honor of leading it for the past decade." Ashley tries to speak, but no sound comes out. Her mouth opens and closes like a fish drowning in air. "Some of you may not have known I was the owner," I continue, looking directly at her. "I've preferred to stay behind the scenes, to observe, to see how people behave when they think I'm—" I pause deliberately. "Nobody." The crowd is utterly silent now. You could hear a pin drop. "I've learned something valuable these past 7 years," I say. "True character reveals itself not in wealth, but in how you treat people you think can't offer you anything." My eyes sweep across the audience before landing back on Ashley. "People you think are beneath you, people you're embarrassed to introduce to your colleagues, people you call nobodies." Ashley's face crumples. Tears stream down her cheeks, ruining her perfect makeup. Shane tries to slink toward the stage exit. My voice stops him cold. "Shane Mitchell, my employee, stay where you are." He freezes like a deer in headlights. I pull out my phone and tap the screen. Behind me, the massive display lights up with a single word: evidence. Photographs fill the screen. Ashley and Shane at intimate restaurant booths, leaving hotels at suspicious hours. Text messages scroll past, each one more damning than the last. "He makes me feel like I matter, like I'm not just married to a nobody." The crowd gasps. Someone in the back whispers loudly enough to carry. "Oh my God." Nicole sobs openly. Drew puts a comforting hand on her shoulder, but I'm not finished. More images appear. Receipts, inventory reports, timesheets. "These dinners, these hotel rooms, these gifts," I explain, my voice hardening, "were all paid for with stolen company materials. Shane Mitchell embezzled $18,000 over 6 months to finance his affair with my wife." Shane finally finds his voice. "Sir, I can explain. This is a misunderstanding. Explain how you categorize dates with my wife as damaged materials." I cut him off. "Explain how you purchased her dress, the one she's wearing right now, with lumber meant for the Henderson project." Ashley looks down at her red dress like it's suddenly made of acid. Her hands shake uncontrollably. "Shane Mitchell, you're terminated effective immediately," I announce. "Security will escort you out. You'll be hearing from our legal team regarding restitution and potential criminal charges." Two security guards materialize from the wings. Shane tries to protest, but they take his arms firmly, guiding him off stage. He shoots Ashley one last desperate look, but she's not looking at him anymore. She's staring at me with an expression of absolute devastation. As for Ashley Matthews, I continue, my voice dropping lower. You're also terminated, and you'll be hearing from my divorce attorney Monday morning. Ashley collapses to her knees on the stage, sobbing. Cole, please, I didn't know. You didn't know I was rich? I interrupt coldly. But you knew you were married. I hand the microphone back to the MC and walk off stage, my heart hammering, but my face impassive. Behind me, Ashley's sobs echo through the sound system until someone mercifully cuts her mic. The crowd parts as I walk through them. Some people look sympathetic, others look scandalized. Drew catches my eye and nods with understanding. Nicole tries to approach me, but I shake my head gently. Not now. I make it to the exit, breathing the cool desert air, when I hear heels clicking rapidly behind me. Mr. Matthews! It's my attorney, Claire Donnelly, rushing from the venue. Sir, we need to discuss the divorce proceedings. Given tonight's events, we should move quickly. Monday, I tell her. File everything Monday. Look, here's what you gotta understand about revenge. It's supposed to feel good, right? 7 years of planning, of watching, of building toward this moment. Ashley humiliated, Shane destroyed, justice served. So, why did I feel so empty driving home that night? 2 weeks later, I sit in Claire's conference room across from Ashley and her lawyer, a public defender, since Ashley can't afford private counsel anymore. She looks hollow, red-rimmed eyes, hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. No makeup, no designer clothes. Just a woman who's lost everything. Due to the evidence of adultery, Claire says crisply, sliding papers across the table, and the prenuptial agreement, Mrs. Matthews is entitled to nothing from the marital estate. Ashley's head snaps up. I never signed a prenup. Claire smiles without warmth. Check page 47 of your wedding venue contract. There was a clause embedded in the financial liability section. Your signature is right there. Ashley's hands tremble as her lawyer shows her the document. There it is. Her signature, 7 years old, on a prenup she signed without reading because she was too excited about the wedding. You tricked me, she whispers. I protected myself, I correct, from exactly this scenario. Ashley's lawyer clears his throat. Mr. Matthews, surely there's some room for negotiation. None, Claire interrupts. The prenup is ironclad. Mrs. Matthews leaves this marriage with nothing. Ashley stands abruptly, chair scraping loudly. Cole, please, can we talk? Just the two of us? Claire starts to object, but I raise my hand. 5 minutes. We step into an empty office down the hall. Ashley closes the door, and suddenly she's the woman I married again. Vulnerable, scared, real. I made a terrible mistake, she begins, tears flowing freely. I was confused. I felt neglected. I let my insecurities control me. You humiliated me publicly, I interrupt quietly. You called me a nobody in front of 250 people. You chose another man because of his truck and his overtime pay. I know, and I hate myself for it. She grabs my arm desperately. But Cole, we loved each other once. That has to mean something. 7 years of marriage can't just disappear because of one mistake. One mistake? My voice rises. Ashley, you had an affair for 6 months. You spent our money on gifts for him. You planned to leave me. The only mistake was getting caught. I never slept with him, she says quickly. I swear, Cole, we kissed, we went on dates, but we never... Does that make it better? You emotionally betrayed me. You chose him over me. You told the world I was worthless. Ashley sinks against the wall, sliding down until she's sitting on the floor, knees pulled to her chest. I don't know what happened to me. I grew up so poor, Cole, so poor. I watched my mother work herself to death just to keep us fed. I promised myself I'd never struggle like that. When you stayed broke year after year, it triggered something in me. For a moment, I feel sympathy. Then I remember her words on that stage. I forgive you for your fear, I say quietly, but I can't forget your choices. The divorce finalizes 6 weeks later. Ashley moves back with her mother, working retail at a home improvement store. Her dreams of construction management shattered. I throw myself into work, trying to forget, trying to heal. Drew finds me in my office late one night, staring at the city lights, glass of whiskey in my hand. "You look like hell," he observes, pouring himself a drink. "I feel like hell," I admit. "I got exactly what I planned for. Proof of her betrayal, a clean divorce, my company intact. So, why do I feel like I lost?" Drew settles into the chair across from my desk. "Can I tell you something I've never told you?" I nod. 20 years ago, I tested my wife, just like you tested Ashley. I pretended my business had failed, that we were broke. I wanted to see if she'd stay. He swirls his whiskey thoughtfully. "She left after 2 years, ran off with a banker. I was vindicated, right? Proof she was a gold digger." "Sounds familiar," I mutter. "Except, here's what I realized a decade later," Drew continues. "I'd set her up to fail. I'd created an impossible test. She married me for security. That was part of our deal, part of what I'd offered. Then I took it away and blamed her for being upset. Was she perfect? No. Was I fair? Also no." I set down my glass. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying Ashley was with you for 7 years when she thought you were broke. 7 years, Cole. Most gold diggers don't last 7 months. Yeah, she failed in the end, but she also passed 7 years of smaller tests. That counts for something. She betrayed me," I say flatly. "She did, and that was wrong. But you also betrayed her by lying about who you were for 7 years. You played God with her life. Maybe you both failed each other." 3 months after the divorce, I'm leaving my office building when I see her. Ashley, wearing a simple store uniform, sitting on a bench across the street during her break. She's eating a sandwich from a vending machine, staring at nothing. She looks broken. Against my better judgment, I cross the street. "Cole," she breathes, scrambling to stand. "I'm not stalking you. I work at the store around the corner. This is just where I take my breaks." "I believe you," I say. We stand there awkwardly. Finally, Ashley speaks. "I've been in therapy. My counselor says I have trauma from childhood poverty, that I attach my self-worth to financial success. When you stayed poor, I felt like I was failing all over again." She looks down. "I'm not making excuses. What I did was inexcusable. I'm just trying to understand why I destroyed the best thing in my life." Drew's words haunt me. 7 years. That counts for something. I think about my father dying alone because he tested my mother and she failed. I think about the bitterness that consumed his final years. I think about becoming him, successful, vindicated, and utterly alone. Ashley was flawed, but so was I. She betrayed me, but I deceived her first. I call Ashley 2 weeks later. "Meet me at the diner where we had our first date." She arrives looking terrified. "What is this about?" "I've been thinking about what you said, about therapy, about understanding yourself." I pause. "I've been in therapy too, trying to understand why I felt the need to test you for 7 years instead of just trusting you. And I've realized we both failed each other. You failed the final test, but I failed you every day by not being honest." I take a deep breath. "I forgive you, Ashley." She starts crying immediately. Thank you, Cole. "I'm also offering you your job back, entry-level position. You'll have to earn your way back up. No special treatment." "Yes, of course. Thank you so much." She reaches for my hand. I pull back gently. "But Ashley, I need you to understand something. I forgive you. I'm giving you a second chance professionally. But romantically, that door is closed." "I understand," she whispers. "I don't deserve another chance. The fact that you've forgiven me at all is more than I could have hoped for." "Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation," I explain. "I can forgive you and still protect myself. I can acknowledge that you stayed 7 years and still recognize that your betrayal was devastating." Ashley starts her new position the following Monday. We pass each other in hallways sometimes, exchange professional pleasantries. She never asks for more. Some doors, once closed, stay closed. But forgiveness opened a window, let light back in. Not for her sake, but for mine. Because in the end, the real test wasn't whether Ashley would love me without money. The real test was whether I could forgive without forgetting, show grace without being a fool, and move forward without the bitterness that consumed my father. I passed that test, and that matters more than anything else.